Hello, guys. Welcome to our session. Myself, Dave. I'm from Crossman community. So, this session is a part of a 36 online virtual hackathon conducted by Crossnode. Today, we have Kshitij Srivastava with us, who is going to take a session on blockchain technology. So, over to you, Kshitij.
Thank you, Dave. So, is my screen visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm assuming it is visible. So, let's start. Okay. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Chadish Srivastav and I'm an instructor at Codedamn. So, today we are going to see introduction to blockchain. So, let's start with what are the things that we are going to start with, like what are the contents that we are going to see. So, we are going to start with why study blockchain because I think whenever we are starting something, it's very important to understand why we are studying it. So, we will start with this. Then we will talk about what is blockchain, what are smart contracts, mining. This is the most, I think, difficult topic, or I will say the most confusing topic. So, what is mining? We will understand this also. Then we are going to talk about decentralized applications, and why we are going to talk about decentralized application because it will help us to understand like how to become a successful blockchain developer. So like these two things are actually correlated with each other, so we will stand understand this decentralized application, and then we are going to talk about blockchain developer roadmap. Then we are going to talk about the salary expectation, like what is the salary trends when it comes to blockchain developer. Then we are going to talk about this. And then the most important question, last question, that whether it is the right time to study blockchain or not, whether to become a blockchain developer right now or not, or should I wait? Okay. So we are going to start with this. So let's start with our first question. Why study blockchain? And to understand, to talk about this question, I think it is very important to understand the story of internet, like how actually internet came into existence, what is the importance of internet, because it will help us to understand why we need to study blockchain. So if we talk about earlier days, how people used to communicate with each other. Earlier, people used to communicate with each other using pigeons. If you have seen Harry Potter movie, you might have seen like Harry Potter and their friends uses owls in order to communicate with each other, right? In the same way, people used to communicate with each other in the earlier days using pigeons. After that, we started using post office, like post boxes, mail boxes. We started writing mails to our friends, to our relatives. And now, if we talk about now, we are using internet, right? And if we talk about internet has made our life so easy. Like we can write mails to our friend, we can talk to so many people at once, like I'm connecting with you guys right in just a fraction of second. So internet has made our communication part very easy. But the only thing where internet is lacking is in trust. We cannot trust the internet. Definitely, communication part is easy, definitely. But the trust part is lacking in the internet. And we can understand this with the help of an example. Let's say you want to donate some money to this NGO. Okay. So you did some online transaction and you donated some money to this NGO. But the problem in this situation is you do not know whether this money is actually being used by this NGO for right purposes or not. You do not know whether this NGO is going to use this money for child education, whether this NGO is going to use it for some money laundering techniques, or whether this NGO is going to use it for women's safety or whatever they call that the purpose they are saying that they are going to use money for. So you cannot trust these NGOs when you are doing this online transaction. So you cannot trust the internet. And there comes the problem. We cannot trust our internet system. So, which technology can we trust in? Like, which technology can we put our trust in? And that's the technology where blockchain come into place. Blockchain is a technology on which we can actually trust. Just like internet is a disruptive technology, right? Like internet made our communication part easy. In the same way, blockchain is making our trust part very easy. And both are the two most important elements, right? Communication as well as trust. These are the two most important elements when it comes to human interaction. We need to trust someone, we need to communicate someone. So communication part is done by internet, it is going good. But the trust part is actually being taken care by blockchain. And that's why we need to understand, we need to study blockchain because it is providing us with trust. It is just like a disruptive technology, just like internet or web 2.0 or web 3.0. Like when I'm saying web 2.0, it is mainly internet. And when I'm saying web 3.0, I'm talking about blockchain. Okay. So we are going to talk about this blockchain technology. And this is the reason why we are going to start, like we are going to talk about blockchain technology. So, do we have any questions till now? Let me see. Do we have any questions? Okay, I'm not seeing much of a questions here. Okay. So I will continue with my lecture and we will start with what is blockchain. So what is blockchain? So on your screen, you will be seeing that these are blocks which are connected with chain-like structure, right? So this is how a blockchain looks like. But what is the definition of blockchain? Okay, let's talk about this. Blockchain is a distributed immutable ledger which is completely transparent. So this is one of my favorite definition. Definitely there are so many definition about blockchain. There is no specific definition, but I like this definition very much that blockchain is a distributed immutable ledger which is completely transparent. Now let us understand the keywords that we are using, distributed, immutable, and ledger one by one, and we will go from right to left. We will first understand what is a ledger, then we are going to talk about what is immutable, and then we are going to talk about what is distributed. So what is a ledger? So ledger is a place or an area where you record your transaction. If you have went to a shop, right, you might have seen that shopkeeper notes each and every transaction, every credit entry, every debit entry, he's actually recording in a notebook, right? Or you might have gone to McDonald's or Domino's, where you might have seen that whenever you are paying them, they are typing each and every transaction on their computer, and that transaction is actually being recorded to their database. So these things where we are recording our transactions are actually called ledgers. Okay. In blockchain world, we also have ledgers. In blockchain world, we have blocks, right? Which we have seen in our earlier present and in our earlier slides, right? These blocks on the blockchain, these blocks of the blockchain are actually ledgers where each and every transaction are is being actually recorded. For example, let's say A is sending some Bitcoin to B. So this transaction will be recorded on the top of this blockchain. So that's why it is a ledger. Now, the difference between these two ledgers, like the ledgers that we are using in our real world application and the blockchain world application, what is the difference between these two? This ledger, this block where we are actually recording our transaction is completely immutable. Now, when I'm saying immutable, once a transaction is actually being recorded on this blockchain, right, and on the block of this blockchain, you cannot manipulate that data. You cannot change that data. But if we talk about these ledgers can be easily manipulated. Let's say, for example, someone has written some transaction to this notebook. Someone can tore off that paper, right? Or someone can erase that, whatever the thing is written with the pen. Or the person who is actually in control of this database can actually manipulate the data, right? But when we talk about this ledger is completely immutable. No one can manipulate the data. And that's the beauty of this blockchain ledger. So we have understand the meaning of two keywords, ledger, like the place where transaction has been recorded, and second, immutable means once the data is recorded on this ledger, on this block of the blockchain, you cannot manipulate with that data, you cannot change that data. Okay. Now let's talk about another important thing or another important keyword that is distributed. So this is how a blockchain network looks like. Okay, so this is our blockchain network where A, B, C, E, F, these are the computers that are connected with each other. And each of these computers have a blockchain associated with it. Okay. And each of these blockchain are actually the same. Means A having this blockchain is same as B. B having the like blockchain has having the same data as C. Means each and every one, each and every computer that is part of this blockchain network is having the exact copy of the blockchain. Okay. Now let's say A is a person who did some transaction. Okay, he did some transaction and he added a block to this blockchain. Okay, so earlier there were four blocks, right? You can see that earlier there were four blocks. Now A is doing some transaction and this block is added to the A blockchain block. Okay, so now this block is added to the blockchain of A. Now this block will be verified and validated by each of these people, by B, C, E, F. They will verify whether this block is actually not a manipulated data. Like this block is actually like this block is not a malicious block. This block is a completely right block or not. So they will verify and validate. And once the verification and validation is done, okay, the transaction and everything is right in this block. What they will do, they will attach this block to their blockchain, and that's how the blockchain is distributed. You can see that like this block was earlier on this block, like only on this A only, right? But after some time this block get distributed to all the places. Like it is like A is having a ledger, A is having a ledger, a copy, and A is distributing this ledger all across the network. So that's why we call it as a distributed. Now there is one more keyword to it, that is it is transparent. So what is this transparent? The ledger that you are seeing like with A, B, C, E, F, okay, all these data is actually available in the public domain. Everyone can see that data. But don't think that this data is like, when I'm saying it is public, it doesn't mean that anyone can read this data, because the data is actually in a encrypted form. So nobody can actually decrypt that data. Only they can see that, okay, some transactions are being taken place over the network, but that data is actually in a encrypted form. So that's why this data is definitely transparent, but nobody can read this data. And that's why blockchain is a distributed immutable ledger which is completely transparent. Okay. So let's say if we have any questions till now. Okay, let me see. So do we have any questions? Okay, I don't think so I have any questions till now. Okay, so we will move further ahead. I hope you understand like what is blockchain. Now let's talk about the blockchain applications. Like, what is the application of blockchain? So if we talk about blockchain application, blockchain has various applications like in healthcare system, in financial system, in supply chain management, and in smart contracts. And since we have a less duration of time, so we will focus on this smart contract aspect, like what is this a smart contract and how blockchain is like helping to make this smart contract, like how this smart contract actually works and how what is the application of this smart contract. Okay. Now let's understand, like let's start with what is the definition of smart contract. Smart contract is simply a program that is written on a blockchain, nothing else. It is simply a program that is written on a blockchain. Definitely, its name is a bit complicated, smart contract, but do not go to its name. It's simply a program written on a blockchain. So, if this is your block of the blockchain and you are writing some program on it, you are actually creating a smart contract. Okay. Now, let us understand how smart contract actually works with the help of an example. So here you can see that we have A and B. These are two people. A is a delivery person who delivers fruits to B. Okay. Once the delivery is done, B pays to A in certain amount of money, like because definitely A has delivered some fruit to B, right? So B need to pay some money to A, right? Now everything is fine, right? This is how a business transaction is works. But after some time, B realizes that the fruits that is actually being delivered by A are actually rotten. They are not right. Now B is in a wrong position because now B cannot sell these fruits to his customer, right? Now B is in a loss. So what B can do to avoid this type of loss, right? Now what B can do to avoid this type of loss? Now what B can do is B can use a smart contract, okay? And we are going to understand this smart contract with the help of a flow diagram, okay? So what B will do, B will write a condition to this smart contract. And before that, we will assume something that the optimum temperature to keep these fruits fresh is less than 30 degrees Celsius, okay? So let me go back. So this is our delivery truck, okay? And we are assuming that the fruits that are kept in this delivery truck are are not like are in a good condition when the temperature of this delivery truck is less than 30 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, then the fruits will get rotten. So this is just an assumption, okay? So this is our smart contract and this is our assumption. And now we will write our code to this smart contract because smart contract is simply a program. So we are going to check if IoT. Now, what is this IoT? IoT is a temperature detecting device. You can think of IoT as a temperature detecting device. So if IoT detected a temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius, okay, if the IoT detected a temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius, in that case, what we will do is we will cancel the delivery and we are not going to pay to A, right? And this should be done because if the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, in that case, our food will get rotten, right? So definitely we will not pay to A, right? And we will cancel the delivery. Otherwise, what we will do, we will do the delivery and transfer money to A. Means if the temperature is optimum, in that case, we are going to do the delivery and we will pay to A. So this is how a smart contract works. And you can think like why it is called a smart contract, because you can think because there is a if and else condition, right? If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do this. So this is how a smart contract works. Now you must be wondering like how this smart contract is different from any other like program, because this is simple program, right? If and else condition. Now the beauty of this smart contract is that this smart contract is actually in immutable nature, because this smart contract is actually getting deployed to our blockchain. And we have talked about blockchain, right? Blockchain is a distributed immutable ledger. Means once something is written on top of the blockchain, you cannot change it. And that's the beauty of the smart contract also. Once you have written this program, this is smart contract on the top of the blockchain, you cannot change this smart contract. So this is the first thing. Second important thing about this smart contract is there is no human intervention required. Means you might be thinking like when we are doing this delivery to A and we are transferring some money to A, right? When this condition is false, no, right? So what B will do actually is B will transfer some cryptocurrency like our Bitcoin or Ether. These are cryptocurrencies. This cryptocurrency will be transferred to the smart contract balance. You can think that smart contract is just like a bank. Okay, you can think that smart contract is a bank. B will transfer some amount of cryptocurrency to this smart contract account, and once the condition is met, this smart contract will automatically detect the balance from a smart contract account and will transfer it to A. If the condition does not met, then the cryptocurrency that is holding by this smart contract will not be transferred to A. So there is no human intervention required. Everything will be taken care by the smart contract only, and nobody can change this smart contract. This is another important thing about this smart contract. And don't worry, we are going to code one smart contract in this video, in this webinar only. Okay. So before moving further, okay, this is a practical time. But before moving further, let me see, do we have any questions or not? Okay, and then we will switch to our practical effect. Okay, so gotcha, cool. So everything is going fine, right? So now let's do one thing. Let's do a practical of this smart contract. Okay, how we can create this smart contract. Now, in order to create this smart contract, first thing that you need to install is this MetaMask wallet. Okay, simply go for metamask.io. Okay, and then install this MetaMask wallet. It's a very simple process. Just click on this install MetaMask for Chrome. I'm using this Chrome browser. So install this MetaMask to your Chrome browser, and that's it. Okay, and then just come to Codedamn. So you can come to our Codedamn website. Simply type Codedamn like CODEDAMN.com, and after this, just go to this playground option. Okay. So in this, you will have all the compiler and everything. So you do not need to install or do anything else. Simply go to this playground, click on Solidity, because we are going to use Solidity as a programming language in order to code our smart contract, because smart contract is a program, right? So Solidity is a programming language that we are going to use in order to code our smart contract. So I will click on this Solidity button. So it is asking what is the what do you want the name of your project to be. So let me write as delivery. Okay, so you can type it as anything. I am taking delivery. Okay, I will create snippet. So it will take some time because it is downloading all the resources that is necessary. Till then, I hope you have downloaded, you have installed this MetaMask wallet. Okay, just close it. Let me go to this. So this is how our this is how our environment looks like. This is how our Solidity environment looks like. So in the left panel, if you will see, you have this contracts folder, and you have to worry about this contracts folder only. You do not need to worry about these type of files and folders. Just worry about this contracts folder, or not worry, just have a look on this contracts folder. Okay, because in this only we are going to create a smart contract. Now this is the place where we are going to write our logic. Okay, so this is the place where we are going to write our smart contract. So this is the text editor, and this is the place, once this this process is complete, you will see your smart contract instance created on this page. Okay, and you will understand each and everything once we will deploy our smart contract over a test network. So just be have some patience, you will understand each and everything. And this is the place where you will see your warnings. Let's say you have made some compiler error, okay, or you have made some issue, like you have written something wrong in your smart contract. So all these things will be taken care by this terminal. So you have to simply go to your terminal and see that whether you are making some mistake or not. So simply all those things will be reported in this terminal only. Okay, so okay, I think everything is now ready. Now let's code our smart contract. So first of all, what I will do is, first of all, I will create a new contract. Okay, I will go to this contracts folder. I will click on this icon, and I will create a let's say demo. Okay, demo is our smart contract name. I will make it .sol. .sol is the extension for our Solidity programming language. So whenever you are creating a smart contract, you need to have this .sol as an extension. Just press enter, and now do one thing. Just go to your hello world sol and copy these two lines. Okay, because we are going to require these two things. I will explain you all these things. The first line is actually about the SPDX license number. So whenever you are writing your smart contract, you need to mention this SPDX license number. Just copy paste it from hello world sol.sol file only. Okay, for now. And then you have this pragma solidity, means you are telling your compiler which version you are using. So I'm using 0.8.4. So this symbol is actually telling you can use 0.8.4 or above version than this. Means you can use 0.8.5, 0.8.7. So version like this you can also use in your smart contract. Okay. So now let's code our smart contract. So how we can code our smart contract? First of all, you need to write a keyword called contract because you are going to create a contract, and then the name of your contract. So you can type the name as anything. In my case, I'm naming it as demo only, but you can type it as contract ABC or whatever name you find suitable according to you. Then these curly braces. Okay. Now inside this contract demo, we are going to create a function. Okay. In order to test, like we are going to make this a smart contract. Okay. We are going to make this smart contract. So inside this, what we will do is we will create a function. Okay, so whenever you are creating a function, you have to write this function keyword. Then the name of the function, let me name it as check. Okay, inside this, I will have our data type int. Int is an integer data type, like in C programming language or in Java programming language. So in all programming language, we have this data type, right? Integer or we have string. So in the same way, I have this int data type, and then I will have a variable. Okay, so this is the temperature variable. Then we will make this function a public function. Now, what is this public? Public is actually a visibility specifier, which actually tells that this function is accessible to the outside world. Now, what do I mean by this outside world? It simply means that when I'm creating this function, I want this function to be accessible at this place. If I will not write this public keyword, you will not find this function at this place, and you will understand it once we will deploy our smart contract. Then we will make this a pure function. Now, what is this pure? I know there are so many keywords, but we have to deal with it. It's simple, but what is this pure keyword? So, whenever you are creating a smart contract, and in that smart contract, you are not writing or change or reading to the state variable. What is the state variable? State variable is a variable which you declare between these two parentheses. So let's say I have declared a state variable, for example, int num. So in this case, this num is actually a state variable. And if I am declaring some variable inside this function, that is a local variable. Okay. So since I am not manipulating this state variable, I'm not dealing with this state variable, I will make this function as a pure function. Okay. So that's why I have written this pure keyword. So let me remove this because we are not going to require this. So I will remove this since we are not dealing with the state variable. Okay. And then we will write returns. Now this returns and return are two different things, so do not confuse that I'm talking about return. I'm talking about returns here. Inside this returns, you have to mention the data type that you are actually returning. So in our case, we are going to return a string data type. Okay, a string data type. And why I'm writing memory, it is a little bit complicated, like if we talk about this webinar, definitely. So just for now, returns string memory. So whenever you are returning a string, you have to write string and memory. Okay, and then inside this, what we will do is we will simply write the condition that we want. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, let me make it a bit cleaner. Okay, so inside this, we will make our if condition, that if the temperature is, let's say, let's go to our this. So if the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, so if the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, then what we will do is we will return. Now we are returning. Okay, this is return and this is returns. Okay, so in this we will return, let's say, let me go. If temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, then cancel delivery and do not pay to wait, right? So we will write cancel delivery and do not pay to wait. Okay. And then we will have one more else here. And in this, what we will do, we will return in this. If you will go back, so here you can see that do delivery and transfer money to it. Okay, so we will have do delivery and transfer money to A. Wonderful. So this is how our smart contract looks like. I know it is a very simple smart contract. seeing to the duration of this webinar. This is how a smart contract will work. So what we are trying to do is we are actually checking whether the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, then we are going to return this statement. If the temperature is less than 30 degrees Celsius, means to the else part, we are going to return this statement that do delivery and transfer money to AK. Okay. I think we have all the brackets in place because normally I miss the brackets. So let me check. Okay, so I have this. Okay, everything is right. Now comes the most important part. Now we are going to deploy this smart contract over a test network or over a blockchain. Now, in order to do that, so what you will do is you will first of all click on this thing, right? In this browser, you can see this arrow type of thing, right? Just click on this. Now this terminal will open here. Okay, so it is taking some time. Okay. Now what you will do is you will click on this connect wallet. Now let me open my MetaMask wallet before that. So you can see that I have this Codedamn test network, right? This Codedamn test network. You might be seeing other test network like Rinkivi, Coven, Robsten, but you might not be seeing this Codedamn test network. So what you have to do is you have to simply go to this icon, go for settings, and in this go for networks and click on this add network. So once you will click on this add network, let me show you, you will have a screen like this, right? In which you have to mention the network name, RPC URL, and chain ID. So what you will do is you will fill out these details that I'm going to tell you for our Codedamn test network so that you can check your smart contract, you can deploy your smart contract, because what we are trying to do is we are going to deploy a smart contract over a blockchain, right? And when we are deploying a smart contract over a blockchain, we need to pay some rent because we are actually occupying some space over a blockchain, right? So what we are trying to do is we are actually making those conditions, like we are actually transferring some ether to our wallet so that we can deploy a smart contract over a blockchain so that we can pay some rent to the blockchain. Okay, so it is just like this. Just let me show you. Just like fill out the details that I have, I have written in this here. Like in this networks tab, you can see that I have this network name Codedamn. You can type any other network name in your MetaMask add network tab in this tab. Okay, MetaMask again close. It is a bit issue. No issues. We will again go. And in the new RPC URL, you have to mention this link only: https colon oblique oblique eth.codedamn.com. And in the chain ID, you have to mention this chain ID only 31337. So please be careful here. New RPC URL need to be this only, and the chain ID need to be this only. Okay, this Codedamn network, you can name it as ABC, whatever you want, but these two things you need to mention exactly the same. Okay, just mention these two things exactly the same inside this add network tab. And once you have done, do not worry about this currency symbol and block explorer URL. These are not compulsory. Just click on save and you will have a Codedamn test network running on your MetaMask test, like your MetaMask wallet. Okay, now once you have done this, what you will do is you will click on this connect wallet. So let me click on this. So you can see that when I'm clicking on this connect wallet, it is asking which account do I want to connect to. So I'm connected to this account, that is account 13. Let me click on next. You can connect to any other account, whatever you want, because we are going to make some changes to it also. We will click on connect. And now our MetaMask wallet is connected to our this page. You can see that, right? Because here we have this address 0x3C44. And in our MetaMask wallet, let me show you, we have this 0x3C4 and like 44 only. Okay. But in your case, like in my case, you can see that I have this amount of ether. In your case, it might be 0 ether because you haven't transferred your this account to your MetaMask wallet. You need to import your account to this MetaMask wallet in order to have this amount of ether. And these are fake ethers. So do not think that these are real ether. You can sell it online. These are fake ethers only for testing purposes. These ethers are actually being provided to you. So how you can get these ethers? Simply you have to do one thing. You have to go for this show test accounts. You will click on this show test accounts. You can select any of these accounts from here and just copy paste the private key. Just let me copy this private key. Okay, I have copied this. I will go to my MetaMask wallet and I will just go to this import account and I will paste the private key that I have copied and I will click on import. Once I will do this, you will see that in your account actually, account will be imported to your MetaMask wallet. But in my case, it is saying that the account you are trying to import is a duplicate because I have already imported this account. That's why it is saying this. But in your case, you might be like in your case, this account that 0x90F7 might be imported to your MetaMask wallet. And how you can check that? Simply go to your MetaMask wallet and check the account here. Okay, so say, like see the account that you are connected with. Okay, so if the account is imported to your MetaMask wallet correct in a correct way, then you will see that account here, and that account will be connected to this place also. If I will change this account, let's say change it to some other account. So I will click on connect. So you can see that I have different accounts 0x90F connected to this browser. Okay, and you can see that 0x90F7. So once you have done all these steps, now it's time to deploy a smart contract. Now what we will do is we will click simply on this deploy button, and you can see that MetaMask is asking for our transaction because we need to pay some rent, right? Because we are taking some space over the blockchain. So we will click on confirm. Now once like this confirmation is done, you can see that we have our transaction. Okay, our transaction is successful. Just go to this tab, demo tab. This is our contract name, right? And now you can see that you have an interface of your smart contract. So this is your check function that we have created inside our smart contract. And then we have the temp value in which we will transfer the temperature value. Okay, let's say I have transferred 10. Okay, so let me transfer 10 and I will click on run. So you can see that do delivery and transfer money to A because the temperature is less than 30 degrees Celsius. And if the temperature is less than 30 degrees Celsius, it is an optimum temperature, right? But if the temperature is, let's say, 40, in that case, what will happen? Let's see. Run. So you can see that cancel delivery and do not pay to A. So this is how you can deploy your smart contract over a blockchain. It's a very simple process. It's a one-time process that I have explained you. I know it's a little bit complicated when you try it for one like at first, but believe me, it's a very easy process. Once you will do this again and again, and you do not need to do it again and again. You can see that once we have a setup ready, you can use it whenever you want. Whenever you want to deploy your smart contract, whenever you want to test your smart contract, you can simply use the same setup, same account, and nothing else. So let me go back so that I can check whether we have any questions or not. Okay, so I think we have some questions. Sorry guys, I do not have a double monitor. That's why you might be seeing the screen. So let's say never realize what all codes get behind all the blockchain. Okay, Naman, I think now you have got. What is double spending? Is it possible to double spend in a blockchain system? See, double spending is a problem that Naresh is asking that what is double spending? So let me answer it in a easy in a way. That double spending was a problem whenever, let's say, you are doing any, let's say you have an image. Okay, you have a digital image, so that digital image can be copied and pasted and can be distributed to multiple people, right? So what you are doing is you have a single copy of image and you are distributing this same image to multiple people. So if you are creating a cryptocurrency and if that cryptocurrency have a double spending problem, let's say, because what is cryptocurrency, if you will see, it is a simply a number that you are seeing on your screen, right? So this is how a cryptocurrency looks like. So what will happen if I have one ether in my wallet and I'm taking this one ether and I'm transferring it to you, and again I'm copying this one ether and I'm transferring it to to other person. So this is double spending, right? So it's just like a single image can be copied and can be transferred to multiple peoples. Same can be done with cryptocurrency also, because cryptocurrency at the end, if you will see, it's simply a digit. It's simply a digit on your screen, right? Which you can copy and paste. So this is like when if we talk about in terms of Bitcoin. So this is what Satoshi has done is Satoshi, who is actually the Bitcoin founder, I will say, he has actually limited this double spending problem using the proof of work concept. Now this is something out of the scope of this course. So using proof of work, Satoshi has actually find earlier when they were cryptocurrency, right? When they were cryptocurrency, if we talk about 90s, there were some various cryptocurrency originated at that time also. But due to double spending, that they were not successful. But Satoshi actually found the solution to this double spending problem using proof of work algorithm, and now we have different varieties like proof of stake and various other things are also there, which actually help us to avoid this double spending. Okay, I know it might sound a little bit complicated to the people who are just studying, like just starting with this blockchain. But for now, I think you have understood the core concept what I'm trying to tell. Like double spending now can be avoided with the help of proof of work algorithm that is being used actually in Bitcoin network. Okay. Okay. Best session on blockchain I've ever seen. Thank you so much, Anushka. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move further. I hope you understood how this thing works. I know this is a little bit complicated, but believe me, once you will do again and again, you will understand this thing. Okay. So this is how a smart contract and everything works. Now we have seen the practical thing also, how to deploy a smart contract and everything. Let me show you now how mining is actually done. Now this is one of the most complicated topic, the most tricky topic I will say. But as a developer, I will not say that you need to go in much depth to it, but you should know what is actually mining. Okay. Now let's understand this. So let's say you did some transaction, some cryptocurrency transaction. Let's say you transferred some Bitcoin to your friend. Okay. So what will happen? This transaction will actually goes to pool of miners, what we call as a mine pool, miners pool or pool of miners. I am just confused here. So actually, this transaction will go to this pool of miners. So these are group of miners that you can see. These are miners. Now, what is the use of these miners? What these miners actually do is these miners solve mathematical problems. And do not worry, these mathematical problems need not to be solved using pen and copy. So you do not need to worry about it if you are thinking to be a miner. Simply, their computers are more than enough. They have good like technologies in order to solve that mathematical problem. So these are the miners who solves mathematical problem. So once you do a transaction, this transaction goes to these pool of miners. These miners, when they get this transaction, they start solving a mathematical problem. And this mathematical problem is actually given by the Bitcoin network. We are talking in terms of Bitcoin. So I'm taking Bitcoin as an example. Definitely it can be Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency also, but we are talking about Bitcoin in this case. So this transaction will go to these pool of miners and a mathematical problem will be solved by these pool of miners. Okay. Now the miner who will solve this mathematical problem first, the miners from these set of miners, the miner who will solve this mathematical problem first will have the capability to add a block to the blockchain having this transaction. Because I told you earlier, right? What is a block? What is a blockchain? Blockchain is something where we are writing our transactions. Okay. Now this miner, one of these miners has solved a mathematical problem once he get this transaction. So what he will do if he will take this transaction, he will take this transaction, he will put this transaction to the top of this blockchain. He will write this transaction to the top of the blockchain, and what he will do is after that, let me tell you in one. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, let's go back a little bit so that I can give you a good explanation for it. So what actually happens is transaction will go to this pool of miners. These pool of miners will start competing with each other. They will take this transaction and they will start solving a mathematical problem. Okay. Now, one of these miners who will solve this mathematical problem first will have a block having this transaction to our blockchain. Okay. So he will say, okay, I have founded the mathematical problem solution. Now I have this block with having this transaction. So these miners, the remaining miners will say, okay, so you have solved this mathematical problem, right? So now let us verify and validate it whether you have solved this mathematical problem in a right way or not. So if you have solved this mathematical problem in a right way, then what we are going to do is we are going to add this block to the top of the blockchain, and we are going to reward you with a certain amount of cryptocurrency. Like in Bitcoin, in a Bitcoin network, the miner will be awarded with a Bitcoin. If it is a Ethereum network, then the miner will be awarded in terms of a Ether. And once this is done, this block will be added to the top of the blockchain. So this is how a mining process works like. Simple as that. A mathematical problem, once a transaction is done, this transaction will go to the pool of miners. Pool of miners will start solving a mathematical problem provided by the Bitcoin network. The person or the miner who will solve this mathematical problem first uh, will add this block, like having this transaction will add this block to the blockchain having this transaction, and this block will be first verify and validated whether this block does not contain any malicious data or not. If the block is containing some malicious data, in that case this block will be discarded by these set of miners. Otherwise this block will be added to the blockchain, like we have seen in our blockchain presentation, right? When I have shown you like how blockchain block get distributed. So once this will be done, this miner who has solved this mathematical problem first will be rewarded with some cryptocurrency, and that's how this process will end and the block will be added to the blockchain. So if we will go back to our previous slides, so this is what is actually happening here. So here ABCEF, this is a Bitcoin network. So what actually happened? This, let's say A is a miner. He solves a mathematical problem and he added this block to this blockchain. Now this block will be verified and validated by this BCEF. Once this verification and validation is done, okay, this block is not a malicious block. They will add this block to the blockchain, and this miner who has actually added this block to the blockchain will be awarded with a certain amount of cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is how our mining is actually done. Okay, let me see, do we have some questions or not? Okay, so I don't think so. Do we have any questions related to mining? If we have, please let me know. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm moving further. Okay, guys, now let's talk about decentralized application, and please listen to this thing very carefully because this will help you to understand how to become a successful blockchain developer. Okay, now before talking about a decentralized application, let's talk about a centralized application. What is a centralized application? So this is how a centralized application looks like. We have a client server model. So this is a client server model. Like for example, YouTube is a server. Okay, YouTube is a company, is a centralized company who is actually owning some server, and whenever we require some video to watch from video, like from YouTube, we request YouTube server, like please YouTube show me this video, and YouTube from its server provide us with that video. So we are the clients. So this is how a client server model or a centralized application looks like. The application is running on the top of a server. So there is a, this is a master, and you can think of it like we are the slaves. Okay, so this is how a centralized application looks like. But when we talk about a decentralized application does not run on a single system. This decentralized application is running on each and every system that is part of this blockchain network. So this is how a decentralized application is different from a centralized application. In a centralized application, this application was running just on this server. In a decentralized application, this application is running on each and every system. So in this decentralized application, there is no concept of client or server. There is no concept of master and slave. Okay, so this is how a decentralized application looks like. Now let us understand how this decentralized application is actually made, or what is a decentralized application. So this is your smart contract, which we have talked about, right? This is something that you deploy to your blockchain. Now, in order to communicate with this smart contract, or in order to communicate with this smart contract, or for a normal public or for a normal user to use this smart contract, what we do is we integrate this smart contract with a front end. And this front end can be in JavaScript, React.js, AngularJS, whatever programming language you find suitable, you can create a front end from it. Then you integrate this smart contract in which we have actually written our core logic, right? That we have seen, like when we are talking about the delivery process, right? So we integrate this smart contract with this front end, and then we deploy this whole thing to a decentralized network, and then we get a decentralized application. Simple. This is what a decentralized application is all about. A smart contract integrated with a front end deployed to a decentralized network. When I'm saying decentralized network, I'm talking about, let's say, because Bitcoin does not support smart contracts, so I'm talking about an Ethereum network. So when you deploy this decentralized application to a Ethereum network, what you get is a decentralized application. So if you will see, this architecture is not very much different from a centralized application. In case of a centralized application, what we have is a front end plus a server, right? But since our decentralized application is not dependent on any centralized authority, we have a smart contract. And since blockchain is actually a decentralized type of thing, right? So we are having a decentralized application here. So this is what a decentralized application is. This is how a decentralized application looks like. Okay. So let's see, do we have any questions or not? And then we will move further to talking about how to become a successful blockchain developer. What are the tools? What are the techniques? What are the things that you need to know in order to become a blockchain developer? So let me see that. I can cross these all, right? Okay. Let me. Okay. So do we have any questions till now? Okay, understood. So now let's move further and let's talk about how to become a successful blockchain developer. Okay. So There are two types of blockchain developers. First one is blockchain core developer, and another one is blockchain software developer. Now, who are blockchain core developer? Blockchain core developer are the one who actually create your blockchain from scratch, like who actually maintains how protocol will be made. Like, when I'm talking about Bitcoin, so you need to create a Bitcoin from scratch. So you are a blockchain core developer. You can think like that, so okay, like this only. But in most of the cases, in marketplace or in job opportunities or in startups, what you will find is the demanded thing is blockchain software developer. Definitely, you can become a blockchain code developer, and in order to become a blockchain code developer, you need to learn programming languages like Go, Rust, C++ type of programming language. Okay, but most of the cases in job scenarios in startups or in companies, you will mostly see the job description for blockchain software developer. Okay, so we will talk about blockchain software developer in this webinar. How to become a software like blockchain software developer. Now, in order to become a blockchain software developer, you need to learn two things. First, how to create a front end, okay, and how to create a smart contract. So these are the two things you need to become a blockchain developer. Like this front end can be in any programming language, it can be in JavaScript, it can be in AngularJS, it can be in React.js, whatever programming language you find suitable, you can choose for this front end. For this smart contract, you can choose Solidity. There is Viper, but Solidity is the most popular one. So I will suggest you that you should go for this Solidity only. So if you know these two things, these two technologies, front end and a smart contract, you can become a successful blockchain developer. You do not need to learn much. But here comes a but, right? The but is that many of the companies still ask for various other things. Like many of the companies still ask for, like you need to learn some database, like you need to learn some MySQL or no MySQL. You can like you need to know any of these technologies, MySQL or no MySQL, or you need to know at least one server-side programming language, like it can be Node.js or Java. But let me tell you one more, like let me tell you one thing, that these two things are not compulsory, because if we talk about blockchain, if we talk about a decentralized application does not require a server. A decentralized application does not require a database, a centralized database. A decentralized application can be made with the help of these two technologies only, with the help of this front end and with the help of this smart contract. But many of the job description that you will see, sometimes they will ask that you must know at least MySQL or no MySQL, or you must know at least one server programming language, that is MERN stack or a mean stack. So these are the job description by a company. But in order to become a blockchain developer, successful blockchain developer, if you know any of these two things, like if you know this front end technology and this smart contract thing, you are good to go. Okay. So for front end, as I told you, you can learn any programming language according to your need. JavaScript is the king. So you need, I think you will, I think I will suggest you to go for React.js, the most popular one. And for smart contracts, Solidity is the best choice. For database, you can go for anything like MySQL or no MySQL, what suits you. And for server, you can go for Node.js, Java, whatever suits you. Okay. But your main focus should be on this front end and smart contract. Now, the another question when we talk about this blockchain developer, how to become a blockchain developer is which is the best programming language in order to become a successful blockchain developer. So this is one of the most frequently asked question: which is the best programming language in order to become a successful blockchain developer? So let me tell you, there is no best programming language. If you know how to code this front end, if you know how to code this smart contract, and you know how to connect this front end with this smart contract, you are good to go. Now, because this front end is actually from a real world application, right? Which we normally use for creating a centralized application. This smart contract belongs to a different world. This smart contract belongs to a blockchain world. Now, only thing that you need to know is how you are going to connect this front end with this smart contract. Like if we talk about in the normal cases, when we are creating a front end using React.js and a smart contract using Solidity, most of the time you are going to see that we are using web3.js library. Now, what is this web3.js library? Web3.js library is simply a medium with the help of which this front end can talk to your smart contract. So you can choose any front end programming language according to your choice. There is no issue in it. You can choose any smart contract programming language according to your choice. There is no issue in it. The only thing is that you need to know at least one programming language, or I will say one library, how you are going to connect this front end with this smart contract. And web3.js is a library that helps you to connect this front end that belongs to your real world application with this smart contract that belongs to a blockchain world application. In like web3.js, we have web3.py, that is a library created in Python programming language. So you can use this web3.py also in order to connect this front end with this smart contract. But the only thing that you need to know is that you need to know one programming language related to front end and one programming language related to smart contract, and how you're going to connect this front end with this smart contract. Okay. Now, apart from programming language, you need to know the concepts related to OOPS, that is object-oriented programming, like what is abstraction, what is encapsulation, because these are the things that you are going to use whenever you are going to create a smart contract or an application. Okay, so do not focus on a programming language. Focus on the concept of object-oriented programming, like how you are going to use encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, interface, all those things. Okay. So let's see, do we have any questions related to this blockchain developer roadmap? Actually, I told you everything. So do we have any questions? Okay, so do we have any questions related to this? Okay, so I think I'm not seeing any question related to the blockchain developer roadmap. I'm assuming that you have understood how this blockchain developer roadmap actually works. But let me tell you one more thing, one more important technology that you need to know since you are entering to this blockchain developer roadmap game, right? So there is one more thing that is called Hyperledger. Now, what is Hyperledger? So Hyperledger is a global enterprise blockchain project that offers the necessary framework, standards, guidelines, and tools to build up open source blockchains and related to applications for use across various industries. I know it's a little bit complicated definition. Let me give you a simple definition of it. That Hyperledger is simply a private permission blockchain which is actually being used by the enterprises. When I'm saying enterprises, I'm talking about the IT giants, like because these are the people, these are the companies who are not comfortable in sharing their data. Like as I told you, blockchain is something where your data is available to the public domain, right? But these companies think that I do not want my data to be publicly available. So what they use is they use Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a private public, like private permission blockchain. Means this blockchain can only be accessed by certain people, the people whom this company or the enterprise actually wants to. Okay, so everyone cannot access the data, and it is permission, means you need to have a permission in order to access this blockchain. So this is what Hyperledger is, and this is one of the most important, like something that you must know since you are entering this blockchain developer roadmap. Because in job description, most of the time you're going to see this also. Like you need to know Hyperledger as a technology if you are applying for this job. Okay. And the best thing about Hyperledger is that you do not need to learn any specific programming language in order to code this smart contract. Like if we talk about public blockchain, most of the time you are going to use Solidity, right? So you need to learn some new programming language in order to code this smart contract. But if we talk about Hyperledger, this private permission blockchain, you do not need to learn any specific programming language. If you know any of the programming language like Java, Go, Node.js, any like normal programming language, you can create your smart contract using those programming language only. Okay, so this is one of the most important thing that you need to know if you are entering to this blockchain developer arena or blockchain developer roadmap zone. Actually, I will say. Now, there are other skills also you need to master in order to become a blockchain developer. That is how NFT works, what is non-fungible tokens, what is Geth. This is you need to know all these things because in job description you will see this. Like you need to have a knowledge of NFT, you need to have a knowledge of Geth, so you need to know all these things. Then what is a truffle and hard hat? These are the most important tools that is being used by a blockchain developer. So you need to learn these two tools: how truffle works, how hard hat works, or what is Ganache, and what is IPFS. So these are the other skills or other technologies you need to learn in order to become a blockchain developer. Okay, but these are the things that you should go for after you have have some idea about front end and have some idea about smart contract. Do not just go to this truffle and hard hat just like that only. Okay, so let me see if we have any questions, and then we will move to our last slide, that is blockchain developer salary and what you can expect if you become a blockchain developer. So do we have how to find jobs in blockchain dev? Very good question, Anushka. There is only one thing that you can do in order to find jobs as a blockchain developer. You have to search for it. You need to search for LinkedIn. You can search it for There are other places like there is monster.com. There is one more website, I think Intershala. So there are various websites you need to look for, and simply just type blockchain developer jobs and you will get the jobs there. So you need to search for it. There is no other way. Okay. Okay. So do we have any other questions? Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm not seeing any other questions. So now moving to the last slide of our webinar, that is blockchain developer salary, how much money you can expect if you become a blockchain developer. Now, so in this, we are going to talk about two things. First of all, we are going to see the data, because without data, if I'm telling you that blockchain developer earn this amount of money, you will not believe me, right? So I'm going to show you some data, and then I'm going to compare this with other developers' salaries and other developers, like how this blockchain developer salary is different from any other developers. Why blockchain developers are being paid so much as compared to other blockchain developers, or not other blockchain developer, but other conventional developers like React.js developers or front-end developers, full stack developers, full web development. Okay, full web development type of developers. Okay, so there is one report by Times of India. I hope you know this newspaper, that top earners why 2022 may belong to big data analytics and blockchain developers. So 2022 is going to belong to these two technologies only, big data analytics and blockchain developers. So this is a good news, right? To start with. Now, this is another data that is from Times of India only. And if you will read this, you will find this one more very important line here, that here it is, that blockchain and machine roles will be the most sought after skills in 2022, according to trends analyzed by recruiting platform monster.com. Now, monster.com is a platform where it actually provides jobs to the job seekers. So they have all the data, and according to them, according to this monster.com, they say that blockchain, machine learning, these are the things that are going to be like, that are going to be the most sought after skills. Like people are going for these skills only if we talk about 2020 era. So this is one of the most important thing that we need to know, that 2022 is going to belong to the blockchain developers only, and definitely other skills also, but blockchain developers, right? So this is one of the data that is being shown by LinkedIn. So this is a survey conducted by LinkedIn, and here you can see that normally, or on average, how a blockchain developer can earn. So on an average, a blockchain developer earns around 44,300 rupees per month. So we can assume that it is around 6 lakh rupees per year. Okay, but the data is very less. If you can see that it is how it is having only 66 responses, so the data is very less, right? So there is one more data by Glassdoor. So in this data you can see that we in this they have compared 86 salaries, and in this also average blockchain developer salary is around 7 lakhs. So if we compare these two data, we can estimate that the blockchain developer salary on an average is around 6 lakh rupees per month, or not per month actually, per year, right? Now you must be thinking like how this is different from any other developer salary, like front end developers or full stack developer. These are the people who are actually earning the amount, like the same amount of money on an average, right? 6 lakh rupees on an average is like any other conventional developer is also earning this amount of money. So why to become a blockchain developer? Why bother to become a blockchain developer? Why not to become a front end developer or a full stack developer where the risks are very less, right? So now let us compare this thing to other developers, like how blockchain developers are very much different from any other developers. So these are our blockchain developers, these are our other developers. So if we talk about blockchain developers, in case of blockchain developers, the demand of blockchain developer is very high, but the supply of blockchain developer is very low. But in case of other developers, if you talk about React.js developers or backend developers, full stack developers, the demand is actually same as supply. And if you know the simple economic principle, this is a simple economics principle, that whenever the demand of something is high and the supply is low, the value of that thing increases. And that's where blockchain developers are actually playing, because the demand, like companies are actually like wanting, like we need some blockchain developers, but there are not so much blockchain developers in the market, and that's why they are ready to pay you much higher amount of salary as compared to any other conventional developers. So that's why, if you will, since the demand is high and supply is low, salary of blockchain developers is very much high in less time as compared to other blockchain developers. Other When I'm saying other blockchain developers, it should be other convention developers. So if you talk about other convention developers, definitely you are going to have a high salary. I'm not saying that you are not going to have a high salary if you become a if you become a React.js developer or a Node.js developer or a full stack developer. You are going to get a high salary, but it will take much time if you compare it with blockchain developers. Supply and demand, simple. The competition in blockchain developers is very less. The reason is very simple. Supply is less and demand is high. So the competition is very less. So chances of becoming a successful blockchain developer is much higher as compared to other conventional developers. So this is the thing where blockchain developers are actually playing it. The place where demand is high and supply is low. And this is the curve. This is a curve that I have created by myself only. And if you will see, at this point of time, we are here. So this is the growth curve of blockchain developers. Okay, this is the growth curve for blockchain. So this is the growth and this is the time. And at this point of time, we are here. Okay, and this is, I am estimating it is 2025. So we are at 2022 at this point of time, and this is 2025. If you will see, after 2025, this line is actually being saturated. Means after 2025, what I am assuming, that this growth of blockchain developer will saturate. But the people who will join as a blockchain developer during this time, this 2022 to 2025, are going to enjoy the most explosive growth. I will say this. So this is the place. This place, you can see that this exponential curve that you are seeing. If you are going to join as a blockchain developer during this period of time, definitely you are going to have a much higher chances of exponentially growing than waiting. Okay, I will, let's say you are thinking, okay, I will wait for some time. I will, let's say I will like I will become a blockchain developer, but let me see my friends are doing fine or not. If they are doing fine, I will become a blockchain developer. If you are waiting like that, definitely you are going to miss this curve, this exponential curve. Okay, so you need to start right now. And just do not believe me. Here you can see that we have another data here supporting this, that blockchain is one of the fastest growing skill sets, with jobs in this domain growing at a whooping rate of 2000 to 6000%. If you talk about other conventional developers, it is only 50 to 100%. Just imagine 2000 to 6000% of growth. This is just, mind blowing, right? This is just mind blowing. Now let's come to our last question. Whether it is the right time to study blockchain or not, whether to become a blockchain developer or not, I think this curve is more than enough or self-explanatory that yes, this is the best time if you want to become a blockchain developer. Because if you will become a blockchain developer at this point of time, you are going to enjoy this exponential curve. The best thing is, this is something that just blows my mind. So I will definitely say yes, this is the best time if you want to become a blockchain developer. And yes, if you are interested in learning from us, like at Codedamn, we have various courses like related to blockchain, how to become a blockchain developer. Definitely, you can join Codedamn. And if you are joining, let me give you this coupon. You can use this user new underscore 85 as a coupon, and you can join our one of the courses of Codedamn. Okay, so let me. I think this is the end of this webinar. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. So let me see if we have any questions. So what are the core requirements for a blockchain developer? Core requirement is only two things. If we talk about blockchain developer, you need to know front end, and another thing, a smart contract programming language. If you just know smart contract also, then that also enough. But I will suggest you to go for this front end as well as this smart contract, because this will increase your chances of becoming a successful blockchain developer. Okay. So any other question apart from Naman? I hope you guys enjoyed this session, this webinar on how to become a successful blockchain developer. So with this, and definitely do not forget to use this coupon code, right? This will give you a 85% discount. User new underscore 85. You can use this and you will get a good amount of discount. Thank you so much, Naman. Okay. So with this, I would like to end this session. Thank you so much, section. Thank you, Anushka. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Oh,
so much, Raj. It was really an insightful session. I hope everyone really got an insight about blockchain and all. So this session was part of our 36-hour virtual hackathon conducted by the CrossNode community. So guys, the link is in the description, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.